What is going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Now, today is Sunday where we have our Sunday stock talk, right? This is where we just go over a few stocks that, have potentially good setups. Now, one thing I do want to say is that you should never trade based off someone else's opinion and only trade whatever you see value in. So we're going to go ahead and go over a few stocks. We're going to go ahead and provide some reasons why they're potentially good setups. But if you guys have any stocks that you believe are good setups, then comment it down in the comment section below, because maybe someone else may be able to see value in the setup that you were talking about. Now, don't go in the comment section and just say buy Apple stock because it's going to the moon. I want you guys to provide a reason. Hey, look, this is a good setup because over here on blah blah blah, and you provide your reasoning. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about a few stocks. We're here on my overall laptop screen. Now, for those of you guys that may ask, I'm using the Weibo platform to trade and invest. Not saying it's a platform you have to use. That's just a common question I get, and it's a broker that I feel comfortable with trading with. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the top 3 stocks that I'm looking to trade for this week. Right now, one of the things I want to kind of put a little bit of attention to is this chart over here. Right now, let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys, and this is pretty much the overall coronavirus cases in the US. Now, do I want to talk about this? Absolutely not. But one of the things I mentioned in a lot of my videos is that you have to really understand what's going on with the world, and it's really a prerequisite as far as being a great trader and a great investor. You have to know what's going on in the global economy, all the news events going on. And what we're seeing over here is we're seeing a upward trend come back with the cases. Right now, this is not something that's unexpected. I said this last year during the winter season, and it's pretty much expected as we're entering these colder climate temperatures, right? And then, of course, we're entering where we have a lot of holidays coming up. Think about Thanksgiving. Think about all the different winter holidays that many different individuals celebrate, like Christmas, etc. And we also have New Year's, of course, right? So think about, those two factors, right? Where we have individuals coming in close quarters, and then we also have colder temperatures. This is pretty much what helps the virus thrive, right? Now, I don't want to go talk about vaccination, none of that stuff. Really what I want to talk about is, with that, coming into your head about, cases are rising, what this tells us is that, companies like recovery stocks, think about like airlines, think about cruises, think about brick and mortar retail stores, they may start seeing a decline as individuals may start pulling their money out because of, sales and revenue not, doing too well with, different parts of the world having lockdowns again, unfortunately. We're going to have, maybe a slowdown in travel. Of course, when we have, cases rising, a lot of the times tech stocks start kind of coming back up because guess what? Now people are back at home again, right? So not a 100% correlation, but something we have to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and go back to the chart. Now, we did see that this was starting to curl up, I would say around November 11th, November 12th, because we did kind of move sideways, and then we're seeing this uptrend right over here. Right now, let's go ahead and over here in the S&P 500, we see that it's kind of moving sideways. But if we go into QQQ, which is the ETF for the Nasdaq, which is more tech heavy, right? We see a different story. Right now, it's not entirely tech heavy, but it does have more tech stocks than the S&P 500, and we see that it's rising. And in fact, we actually see that we have this big candle around the 12th, right? So you could arguably say that around the time where cases started going up over here around the 12th, all right. We see that kind of coming back here in the tech stocks, where tech stocks overall are going up. Now, is it 100% correlated? Absolutely not, right? But just something to point out there. Now, I do understand that it is a little overbought over here as the RSI is overextended. But one of the things I kind of focus on is, I don't try to predict the market. I don't try to say, oh man, we're really at the top here, we should come down. Yeah, a pullback is healthy, but it's not 100% guaranteed that it has to happen right now, right? And one of the things I want to show that example with is if we go to a daily chart, right? And let's see, the pandemic actually started, let's try to find that. That was in 2020 March. So let's just go ahead and try to find it. Wow. Okay, here we go. I couldn't even find it. So this was where the pandemic was, right? Notice how high we have been going up. Of course, we've had dips. Of course, around September and other various areas of the year or the couple of the years now, because this pandemic has been more than a year. We see that we're continuously going up. And now, you could say, oh, the market's overbought. But at the end of the day, you can't start predicting and saying, I'm going to short the entire market because it's over here. The market could continuously go up longer than you could, think that's going to go down, right? And let me try to explain that a little bit better. There's a quote that says, and I may be paraphrasing it, but the market could stay irrational longer than you could stay solvent, right? Which basically comes down to the fact that, the market could act crazier longer than you can act sane, right? It could continuously go up, and your job isn't to predict the market, but really just trade what is presented, right? At the end of the day, we're not trying to predict things, we're just trading whatever is presented, right? And so although we are, on the 4-hour chart overbought, we're overextended over here, it doesn't mean that it absolutely has to come down. A healthy pullback would be nice, but we could continuously go up. There's also another saying, the trend is your friend until it bends. That's pretty much a common saying in the stock market. And so if the trend is upwards, then your direction should be upwards until, again, it breaks below. Now, again, we're not trying to predict anything, but, that's just what's going on. So the first stock that I want to talk about is going to be ticker symbol TSLA, which is Tesla, right? Now, why am I talking about Tesla? Well, Tesla is a tech stock, right? I consider it, although it's an automotive stock, they do other things at the company for Tesla, and I do put it more in the tech-heavy type of stocks, right? And we do see that Tesla has sold off quite a bit. I did cover some videos, talking about Elon Musk selling his shares, and a couple other videos where we talked about consumer reports coming out for, Tesla cars. We kind of covered it in the last couple of 2 weeks, I would say. And now we see this area where Tesla is, starting to bounce up, right? Now, this is something that I really enjoy entering in the stock. I'm already in my position in Tesla, but I believe Tesla may start, going a little bit higher. And the reason I say that is simply just because, Tesla did sell off heavy. We, started bouncing up from this area that looks like it was pretty much our support around here. And we broke, this was a small time frame that I drew these two rectangles right here. These are supply and demand zones. But anyways, we're breaking up. We're above the exponential moving average. We're above the simple moving average, and we're climbing upwards. Now, from the point where we dropped to where we are now, pretty much the high of Tesla to where we are now is a 8%, almost 9% difference. So there's potentially a 9 to 10% gain that we can see if Tesla continues rising up. Now, let's not forget that Tesla does have their earnings coming up for Q4 very soon, or actually around the corner. So that's something to look into, and they also have a few other catalyst events to actually pay attention to. So with that being said, it does offer, a great opportunity simply just because it's already sold off. It's starting to show signs of confirmation bouncing up, which is something that we talk about in the Push and Profit program. Now, quick plug, in the first link of this video, in the description, there's going to be a free cheat sheet that you guys can download, right? And it kind of just talks about how to trade a reversal. Again, it's free. All you got to do is just, pretty much put your email. It's going to send it to you where you could download it. And it's going to kind of explain how to trade a reversal. And this is pretty much a, class A example of in the reversal. A lot of people, they talk about, buying the stocks when they sell down. But I always say on this channel, the dip can get dippier. And we don't want to buy things just because they're at the bottom selling off. We want to buy things when they sold off. They're showing signs that they're coming back up. Right? So that's, what we want to talk about. And there's a few other things in that little cheat sheet, and I may add more to it. So definitely consider clicking that first link in the video, right? But with that being said, that's pretty much what I'm looking at for Tesla stock. Now, the next stock that I want to look at is Facebook, or, if you actually want, it's still ticker symbol FB, but I guess it would be considered meta stock if you guys haven't heard the news, right? Now, Facebook has had a major sell-off in the last couple of months. Ever since September, Facebook has just been selling off. And let's go ahead and kind of just map this out. From the low of pretty much the high of Facebook, that's a 25% decline that we've seen with Facebook. Now, Facebook is entering this area, which is very critical, right? Because we see this red rectangle right here. That is a supply zone. Now, the reason I drew this supply zone is because every time we reach, well, pretty much supply zones are and demand zones, they're very similar to supports and resistances, but they're slightly different. But we're approaching this area where every time we're in this area, we kind of just like start poking below, right? And if we could see in the past, we saw that as well. And also in the past, it used to be kind of like a demand zone, kind of like a support. It was resistance, support. Resistance, support. As you guys know, resistance and supports, they can change because we could break through them, we could break below. And so what we're looking at for Facebook over here is this area of we had been beaten down, we did kind of go up, and are we going to break through this area of 350, right? So if it breaks around 352, then I'll consider entering into a position for for Facebook, for Metastock, because we still have, and if we're counting from where around 352 is from the peak of Facebook, that still offers almost a 9% or 10% return if we go back to the previous highs. Now, is it guaranteed that it's going to go up? Absolutely not, right? We don't just want to jump the gun and try to buy it simply because we think it's going to continue going up. We have to wait again for that confirmation, right? Are we going to break below above this area? Because if not, we could simply just repeat this supply zone and simply just go back down again, right? So I don't want anyone just buying in, guessing that's going to continue going up. Of course, if you see value in buying it in right now, then all power to you. But at the end of the day, I'm waiting for, if we break above 352, that'll show, hey, we are looking towards, breaking above this area and coming back up. Now, is it guaranteed that even if it breaks that area, that's going to start going back up 100%? Absolutely not. And, in the stock market, it's pretty much all about having a plan and executing that plan. But sometimes you're going to have to change your course of reaction to the market, right? Because the market, reacts quick and it reacts random. And sometimes, you're going to have to mitigate your risk in changing your position. It's kind of like a sport, right? Or a battlefield, whatever analogy you prefer to listen to. But at the end of the day, in overall life, you're going to have to change which direction you're going to go constantly, right? It's not forever just going in one way. You have to have multiple different plans, which is why, mitigating your risk is very important, right? Now, with that lecture being done and said, I want to look at the next stock. And the next stock that I want to talk about is Google stock, right? Now, Google stock hasn't had any sell-offs really recently. It looks like it's dipping below over here. So this is something I want to pay attention to. I wouldn't buy Google just yet because it looks like it could go down more. But what I'm looking for is as soon as Google starts bouncing up from this area, if it bounces up from this area, let me go ahead and draw this as kind of like a support over here. If it bounces above this area, then that's pretty much my cue to go in and buy more Google stock, right? Now we do see that the RSI is kind of cooling off a little bit, which is good. Again, you don't want the RSI to be too overbought. You want things to kind of show or cool off so that it's a good area to buy into. Of course, at the end of the day, you always want to buy things with a deal, right? If you're going to purchase a car, you don't want to overpay for that, right? You want to obviously get a great value for that. So if Google does hold around this area of 2,998 and starts bouncing up, then I'll go ahead and buy into Google. Now again, going back to one of the first points in this video, you may ask, well, Google's already so high, why would we buy in if it just bounces up from here? And again, it's just going to show that at the end of the day, the trend could continuously going up. As long as the trend is upwards, then I'm going to be in that upward trend until it breaks. Unless it shows signs that's coming back down, then I'll go ahead and exit. And just to show you guys an example of that again, here we are where the pandemic was for Google. And Google just, kept going up. Now, of course, did we have this sell-off in September of 2020? Yeah. Did we have this sell-off in September in 2021? Yeah, right. And again, I'm not gonna go talk about why stocks sell off in September. I made a video about that a while ago. But anyways, we do see that there were multiple dips, but overall the trend has been strong words up. I mean, we haven't even broke below the green simple moving average, the 200-day simple moving average. So what does that tell you? We're still in this upward trend, and until that trend is broken, I'm still going to be bullish on Google, because again, we're not trying to predict the market. We're not here to say, oh, this is gonna come down because it's too overbought. Imagine doing that over here, right? Or I guess I pointed at the wrong area. But imagine doing that over here. Oh, I'm going to short the stock because it's going to, go down. And then it just keeps going down, up, and then up, and then up, and then up, right? We're really just, trading whatever is presented. So those are my 3 top stock picks. Again, you guys don't have to trade them just because I mentioned them. Again, even Facebook, I'm not entering until it reaches my criteria. So I definitely recommend that you guys, see value in it if you guys do. And then set up your criteria of when you plan to enter, right? When do you see value to enter in? And of course, at the end of the day, mitigate your risk, right? Now, I don't want to make this video too long. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Again, in the comment section below, let me know what stocks you're looking at and provide the reason. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to like this video. And before you go, make sure to watch this next video right over here. It's really going to help you out. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.